All right, we're just about finished with our review for the Unit 2 lecture exam, and so now we want to do Interlude C, which is entitled The Rock Cycle. And so this is going to be Interlude C out of your textbook. So now we want to talk about how one kind of rock can be changed into any other kind of rock. And this is going to be the rock cycle. I don't really need to talk too much about it because we've already discussed igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary rocks. So the igneous rocks form from a liquid. So when the liquid cools off and crystallizes, it turns into an igneous rock. Okay, now let's say that we want to change this igneous rock into a sedimentary rock. What do we need to do? So we're going to need to weather it somehow and turn it into sediments, then deposit the sediments in an ocean or a lake or someplace where they can settle down and be glued together to make a sedimentary rock. What if we want to take the sedimentary rock and turn it into a metamorphic rock? Well, we're going to take the sedimentary rock and subject it to either heat or pressure or hot fluids, and then that's going to metamorphosize it and change it to a metamorphic rock. Now, what if we want to take the metamorphic rock and turn it back to an igneous rock? Well, we need to melt it, and then when it re-solidifies, it's going to be an igneous rock. But it doesn't have to go in that order. So it doesn't have to go from igneous to sedimentary to metamorphic. You could take a metamorphic and you could change it to a sedimentary. You could take a sedimentary and you could turn it back into an igneous. So you can go anywhere that you want in the cycle given the right temperature, the right pressure, and the right minerals to work with, the right composition. So this is the rock cycle. And also, what about if you start with the sedimentary, could you turn it into another sedimentary? Yes. So if you take a sedimentary and you weather it, and then you put it back together again, it would be a different sedimentary rock. So don't get the idea that a sedimentary has to change to a metamorphic or an igneous. It could change back into another sedimentary rock. And a metamorphic could change into another metamorphic rock. Like, for example, slate is a metamorphic rock, but so is phylite. So slate turns into phylite if you increase the temperature and the pressure acting on it. Okay, another thing is time scales in the rock cycle. So in general, it takes a long time to take one kind of rock and turn it into another kind of rock. So that it takes hundreds of years for a liquid magma to cool down and turn into an igneous rock. It takes 50,000 years for plants to be transformed into coal. It takes hundreds of thousands of years for regional metamorphism to take place. So just know that it takes a long time normally to take one kind of rock and turn it into another kind of rock. Okay, what is it that drives the rock cycle? So that you have the internal heat of the earth, so that's what's going to be making the igneous rocks. The external heat of the sun is going to be causing weather, that's going to be causing weathering. Gravity is part of weathering because it pulls the material down slope. And then we also talked about that internal heat and pressure causes metamorphism. So how does the rock cycle interact with the Earth system? So we mentioned that plates can be pulled apart, plates can be pushed together, plates can slide past each other. And in each of these different settings, different kinds of rocks can form. So we mentioned that where plates are sliding past each other, that grinds the rocks against each other, that metamorphosizes them into fault breccia, for example. We mentioned that at a divergent zone, that could make basalt, or it could also make hydrothermal metamorphism. So different places on Earth form different kinds of rocks, and it's related to the tectonic cycle. Okay, the hydrological cycle. So that's going to be involved in the making of sedimentary rocks because that's going to weather them. The hydrological cycle is also involved in the divergent zone where ocean water gets into the rocks and then can percolate through other rocks and cause hydrothermal metamorphism. So the water cycle, the hydrological cycle, is involved in the making of these different kinds of rocks. Okay, then you got the carbon cycle. So that carbon dioxide comes out of volcanoes, and then when it mixes with ocean water, it precipitates as calcium carbonate. That's a sedimentary rock. But also, we said that carbon dioxide could be a fluid that could percolate through a rock, and that could metamorphosize. We also said that carbon dioxide could be absorbed by a plant, and then when the plant dies, it could make coal. So that's another sedimentary rock. So carbon dioxide cycle is involved in the making of rocks. Wow. So that was some review. Okay, so go through all of these notes again. It helps you to actually physically write down on a piece of paper your notes, even if you don't get to use them on the exam, because it will help you to study for the exam. So please go through all of these videos again, go through all of these notes again, and study your hearts out for the upcoming Unit 2 exam. So I hope you do really well, and I will see you in class for that exam. Bye.